Hello, my name is Matthew, and we're reading The Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky for our read along in December. And now we're back to following Dimitri. And this whole sequence of events is some of the most fast paced, exciting, frenzied moments in the entire novel. We're following Dimitri and we're following his circular, self-involved logic and his thoughts and motivations and his problems, and it all comes down to for him his love life. There's this complicated love triangle between two women, one Grushenka, who he's sort of vying for affection with him and his father. Grushenka, meanwhile, is probably playing both parties. It's pretty clear. And then there's another woman that he's leaving, his fiance that Ivan is in love with. And all of this is wrapped up in these financial problems that Dmitri has found himself in. Um, he's, as we know, as we're told, he's squandered all of the money that he's had and still feels that he is due this inheritance from his father. And he's also had been given this $3,000 that we're told he also squandered. But he wants to return that money to his old fiance so he can then have this feeling of redemption for himself. He has this idea that when all of the things line up, all the pegs are in order, and he's with the woman that he loves, and he's repaid all of his debts, he gets his inheritance, he'll then finally be a virtuous man, and he's going to turn his life around. And he's obsessed with solving all of these problems and feeling like he's due all of this money. And he has a series of interactions where he's trying to convince different people to lend him a little bit of money so he can get a lot of money and then repay them back their money. And it's a surefire, guaranteed loan that he's offering. Nobody believes him. No one has any faith in him. And it's this kind of cockamamie scheme. And through these pages, Dimitri is also getting more and more heated and impatient and illogical. Two of my two of my favorite interactions that he has. The first one, he visits somebody and they say, "Well, I can't help you out with the $3,000, but if you go visit a man called the Lurcher, your father is trying to have a business deal with him, and it's not going very smoothly. So maybe if you go visit him, you can solve all of these financial problems that you're having." Dimitri thinks that's a brilliant idea, and he is just hot to trot to make his way to the Lurcher's house, which is um, uh, kind of far away. It turns out that it's even farther away than he had expected, and um, Dimitri is uh, short on cash, and it's very important at this part. At this point, that he has to pawn things to get enough money to even make this trip. Um, we get a great bit of foreshadowing because we learn that this is information that was given to the witnesses later on in the story. And so he pawns a bunch of things, and he's on a horse or a carriage or something, and he makes his way. It's way farther than he had expected. It's taking twice as long to even get where he thought he had to be. The Lurcher is even farther away from that, and him and this other guy are just bounding along for miles to finally get to the Lurcher's house. They arrive and it's late. They're they're in the Lurcher's house, and there's another gentleman saying, "Well, the Lurcher is passed out, drunk," and Dimitri, just totally hot-headed and emotional and bullheaded, um, just will not accept that this is an incapacitated man, and he's kind of smacking the Lurcher back and forth and doing all of the things he can do to try to wake this person up, and everyone is telling him it's hopeless, it's fruitless, and he has to come to terms with this throughout the night. He gets a little candle, and he's going to stay in the room with the Lurcher until he finally wakes up, and he's going to stay there all night. The guy that he had finally leaves, and Dimitri has such an up and down, restive, um, tossing and turning night. Um, he fills the room up with smoke and fumes, and he has to air it out. He gets impatient again. He's violently beating this passed out man, to no avail. And finally, Dimitri himself um, passes out from exhaustion. He had such an active day and such a terrible night that Dimitri wakes up in the morning late. He ended up sleeping in, and when he finally awakens, the Lurcher is sitting across from him, and the empty bottle of vodka that was on the table has now been replaced with another bottle of vodka, and this bottle is already halfway drunk. And it's 9 o'clock in the morning, and the person that Dimitri has been trying to get a hold of, who he had spent the whole night because he was so drunk he couldn't just couldn't be conscious, is now already drunk again. And they have this back and forth. It's obviously not going nowhere. Dimitri gets the feeling that he's actually been put on a wild goose chase to begin with, and has to just run back into town. And he's pawning more things. He goes to the pawn shop and gets rid of his guns. And he makes his way to this woman who, we're told, never liked him to begin with. But for various reasons, there's some hint of hope that she might be the one to give him this $3,000. And she welcomes him in the door and even says, "I've been expecting you." And Dimitri is at his wit's end and is trying to be as polite as he can be with this woman. And she is offering him the world. Dimitri's saying, "Well, if I have this deal, and if I can get $3,000, I'll be able to pay you back." And the woman is saying, "I'm going to give you the $3,000 and more. I'm going to give you $3 million." And Dimitri is beside himself. He's even saying, "Well, I don't need 3 million, just the 3,000. And she brings up gold mining. And she goes, "What I want to do is I want to send you off to the gold mines. And you're going to go be a gold miner. And you're going to mine all this gold. And you're going to be a millionaire." And they're having a mutual, maybe not mutual, but they're having a miscommunication. Finally, at the very end of it, Dimitri is saying, "Great, I'll go be a gold miner. I just need that $3,000 today." And she goes, "Well, no, you do misunderstand me. I don't have the money to give you. I'm offering you an opportunity." And so there's no money. It's just this cockamamie career opportunity that she's offering. And at this point, Dimitri is practically like the Tasmanian devil. He's slamming his fists, frightens the woman. He bursts out of her house. He runs into a woman, nearly knocks her over. She flies across the street, and it's a woman that's supposed to be with the woman that he loves, and he asks where she is, and she's not where she's supposed to be, and he finally makes his way to where she is supposed to be, and she's not there. And so Dimitri believes that she is now um, visiting his father, Fyodor. And Fyodor, the father, as we know, has an envelope with $3,000 in it that he's trying to give the woman. And she's not there. They say that the people in the house go, we don't know where she is. And he leaves um, storming out. But right before he goes, he picks up a brass pestle and then leaves. And he makes his way, it's nighttime, and he has to hop a fence. He's being very sneaky and incognito. Um, we've already learned that from Smerdakov, people are sick and having their fits and out of town and all this. And we have Dimitri just in the shadows seeing his father in his pajama clothes, wearing his nightshirt, getting ready because he believes that the woman is going to be arriving any minute. She's not there, and Dimitri is learning this by knocking on the window, and there's this old lecherous man peeking out the window to see what's going on. And then something very strange happens in the book. All of a sudden, uh, we have Dimitri escaping, hopping over a fence. Gregory, the servant, um, had heard something, is hot on his tail. Dimitri smacks him in the face with the pestle, splits his head open, blood is pouring everywhere. He throws the pestle on the ground and escapes. And then all of a sudden, Dimitri is loaded with money. He has thousands of dollars. He's back in the pawn shop, covered in blood, getting his guns back. He's asking to have a carriage put together. He wants to have all of this food prepared, and champagne and wine and brandy. The pawn shop owner even mentions, just this morning you were pawning your guns for a few rubles. Where did all this money come from? And the great thing is, as a reader, we might be flipping the pages back and forth to see if we missed something. Is there an episode that happened that we just didn't catch right away? What, there's confusion, and we just don't know what's happening, and it's intentional. We're supposed, as the reader, we're supposed to be off kilter and confused, and clearly we are missing a portion of the story. Dostoevsky has no problem being precise and detailed and very clear with all of the principal one-side characters that are moving around through this story. This off-balance feeling of now we don't know what's going on is a device that Dostoevsky is using to create all of this intrigue and mystery. We're now at the point of the murder mystery. It's fantastic. So that's what I'll say about all of this. At this point, we should be around or a little bit past the halfway point in this book. And if you're reading and you are still interested and at all invested, I have a hard time believing that from this point on, the book will not be anything but a complete page turner. We have everything that we need, all set up, masterfully built to have the story start unraveling and unfolding and wrapping up and refolding, and having all of these bits that we're being told start connecting and having several really satisfying conclusions. Um, if you're not enjoying the book at this point, I don't know what to tell you. So, these are some of my thoughts. Um, Let me know what you think. Let me know how you're getting along with the first half of the Brothers Karamazov. And thank you for watching. Leave a comment if you would like, and take care.